was just going to say that. I think that would be a good one for us for karaoke. We would crush that.
We would crush it,
We would absolutely crush that song.
murder it. We
I mean,
would destroy it.
so good. We are so sorry to be a couple minutes late. It is completely my fault because Restream
Is
hates
it?
my
About
guts.
to say. I was about to say. Is it
Hates
your fault?
my guts. Don't cry
Oh,
about it. We'll get through this.
no. Listen, I have a little. Got a little bit of sleepiness.
Oh no. Did you not sleep well last night?
No, my husband snore, and look, he got me.
Nobody.
He felt bad and got me. Look at the name.
Sleepy. That's so nice. Have you seen the one? Have you seen the one that somebody goes to Starbucks? He posted. He said they asked for his name and he said Mark with a C, and so they put CARK. Did you see that?
Stop.
I
No. What is wrong with people?
was cracking
But
up.
Nikki
Brian
here. Hi,
Fink,
Nikki and Brian.
Brian
Love
Fink
y'all.
knows we would crush it if we do
All
that.
caps.
Here's
All
the thing,
caps.
though, for those of you who are going to be at a next conference with us, because I didn't pack at the last one because I didn't want TalentNet to be super overwhelmed. But the next one, which I don't know what it is, but I'm going to bring the portable karaoke mic. We each have one, right? Don't you have a portable one as
Yes.
well? Like the little Bluetooth
Yes.
speaker right on. Yeah, that's what we're just going to do it ourselves. We don't care if there's not actually karaoke happening.
So
We'll
Work
make.
Human next. I mean, we'll
Oh
both be
yeah.
at Work Human. We'll
Yeah,
both
we
be
will.
in
We will
Austin.
be.
I'm gonna be there doing a thing. Excited about that.
You are officially, are you doing a thing for them?
I'm doing no, not for them, but I'm
Okay.
doing a thing. I'll be in town, and I'll maybe Sweet Baby TJ can make an appearance.
Yes. Yes, let's do something. I am going to be at Work Human. I am doing a thing. I think I'm first day of the conference. I'm welcoming everyone in. I'm hosting something. I don't know. There's things. So I'll be around. I'll be around.
Well, good morning and happy Thursday. That's a very cute. I'm drinking my flat white. Look, I'm very boring with our.
I mean,
Oh,
I would sing this to my kids when they were little.
that's cute. So, what are you negotiating today?
So it's so funny. That's why I picked guilty because I find myself dealing a lot with people feeling guilty when we talk about negotiation. Like they just feel like I feel badly. I shouldn't ask for this or I shouldn't do this. And like that's real. I mean, I think it's a good pause, sometimes for negotiation because there's some people who maybe go a little hard. I mean, have you not been
You go
negotiated
hard. Listen,
against?
I just figured out I was watching this comedian and I thought it was funny, but it was a little bit too real after I started thinking about it. And he said, I thought I was being polite, but it's just anxiety, right? It's like he was like, I was trying to be, I always said, oh, I'm gonna be nice and I'm gonna eat this. But really it was because I was afraid because my parents used to make me eat everything on my plate or I would get grounded and I don't want to have that same feeling or
Yes.
whatever. So I've been anxious about it my whole life. And I think with some people think they're being polite by not asking for their own thing, but it's really anxiety from feeling rejected. Like there's ways of all these things that you can
Oh my
back up and tie to something.
I mean, a lot of history comes with you when you do this. Honestly, the first thing that I always think about with negotiation is what is the worst thing that can happen as a result of me asking? What's the worst thing that could happen? I'm told no,
But
right?
I was in Ecuador, and like you go to the shopping markets, and I was trying to go shopping, right?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it was like this lovely leather bag, but my Spanish isn't really great, and I would forget some of the numbers. And every time I would forget a number, I'd be like $1. Like it would be like, oh, here's a $50 leather bag, and I'm like $1. Like I couldn't remember like everything. Oh, here's a like it's
All the
Louis
merchants are
Vuitton
like,
ring for
no,
$25, and I'm like $1. But
no.
I couldn't. I'm like, oh my god, what's $20? I don't know. I know a
That's
dollar.
so funny. I forgot about that in terms of
Yeah.
the negotiation. So I've
in the
Those of
open
you
air
who've been
market.
to, you've been to Tijuana, right? On
Hmm.
Revolucion, right? And doing all the negotiating there. Um, and I forgot about doing that. I mean, and I'm the worst because it was whatever number they said first. No. I mean, I just was,
Same.
no.
You'd be with the no, and I'd be with my $1.
Senor, no. And just walk away like I totally wanted it. Whatever, any of the things I wanted, right? Oh, illegal prescriptions? No. How much?
You were just very dramatic. You were so dramatic.
I
But
forgot. Oh
it's
my God,
like
that's hilarious.
people having to negotiate for their lives. It feels like that right now, like there are so many things going on. You have to negotiate for your work, what you're doing, what you're implementing. It's trying to put all of these things together is like stressful.
Yeah, I mean, I think that first of all, it's pretty funny that we're talking about negotiation right now because I think there's a lot of fear because the market is still not, it's especially in certain industries, it's pretty tough right now, and so you're like, I'm just going to be quiet and I'm not going to say anything, and I understand that, and I do think there's a reality of yeah, you got to know your audience, you got to know the environment, what's the lay of the land right now. If you go in and you're like, I'd like a 40% raise, and the company's like, oh, we can't do that, and if that's just gonna, if you're like, well, then I won't work here anymore. Oh, okay. I mean, that just may be what you need to do, but I don't know if 40% is such a great idea right now. Just gonna say it.
I think people need to know how these things work.
Yes.
Like like we know the whole market may, and a lot of maybe people who aren't HR friendly, they don't know that we try companies are it what's the word?
$1.
Encouraged.
Oh,
Yeah, $1. No, companies are encouraged to separate like raises and performance reviews, right? So it's more of a
yes, yes,
budgetary
yes.
situation and looking at the calendar. But so many people think they're working hard. And I always tell people when they're needing a raise, go ask for the raise because they either have it or they don't. And
Yes.
they're not gonna go through and do all the check boxes. They either do and they have it with this department and they're gonna be able to have the increase or they don't. Um, and it starts with asking for it.
And I also would say some people don't know that HR, hold on, good HR, let's do that. Good HR has ranges. Like we have compensation banding and pay grades that we might be need to use for equity consideration, of course, for competitive considerations as well. But when you come and you're like, look, I'm better than everybody else, and I want to be well beyond the comp range. Listen, ask. I'm always going to be the person to say ask. But just understand that the response you may get is, look, either we have to change your job title and duties and responsibilities, or if you're going to stay in we can't go beyond X at most, because it's going to cause a lot of inequity for others as well. And there are also, and we're going to spend some time on this, I already know it, there are also some bravery components that are lean in, I would say, a bit more to particular people groups than other people groups. So my experience tells me, especially the white dudes they're good to ask for stuff.
They
Other
don't just ask for stuff. They
backgrounds,
think they deserve it somehow. Have it like
some, right? We want to be thoughtful. We're not saying everyone, but there is something that is more comfortable, emboldened in particular,
oh sorry, what?
in particular backgrounds, where others tend to be much more timid about it. And so that is also something to be thoughtful of, depending upon your history and background, and honestly, your heritage and culture. Sometimes those things play into your comfort level.
There
Um,
is cultural things too.
yeah, yeah,
I was doing something the other day with my sister. Some of y'all know that my sister's been living with me, and someone goes, "Oh, you should just ignore her." And I was like, They were like, you should just push her out of the way and just say, I was like, can't. I cannot. I cannot. She is not
What
John
does that
Baldino. If it
mean?
was John Baldino, I would not have a
I
problem.
get knocked
But
over
my
all the
older
time,
sister
all the time.
absolutely can't. Like you don't realize like
And
there
when
are
I
some
fall,
things
by
that
the
are
way, I
embedded.
fall super dramatically. So, I mean, if you were to push me, I'm like, oh, and just fall all the way down and over my
Look,
leg.
I have to acknowledge lovely Rachel Couples is here. Rachel Couples
Yes,
is here, and I love her. She
we
is
love
in the
her.
market. We had to have a layoff. We had to restructure internally at Textio last week. It was like
Yes.
devastating, and my best good Judy, Rachel, was a part of that, and which brings you to the kind of the part of the conversation when
Yeah.
you are trying to negotiate, and there is no good negotiation. You know?
I mean, right. And I've had people say, well, even on the other side, like, I mean, years past, right? When there's a reduction in force, I've absolutely had wonderful people say, I don't want to go somewhere else. I'll stay here. It's okay. You can, take off 30% of my salary. Will that let me stay here? And I'm like, oh gosh, it may, but I don't want you to do that. Like,
No.
I know what you're saying, and I love you for wanting to be here. And I love that you love it here. Honestly, I love all those things, but I also don't want to make it hatred real quick, because that bitterness will set in quickly.
Uncomfortable.
Yes. Oh my
Uncomfortable.
gosh.
That was not fun. Worst day. And knowing when you're having these conversations, like
Yes.
that you do everything you can. I think it's important for everyone to know what you can and can't and be fully transparent so
Yeah.
that people don't feel that desperation or feel something outside. And it does go back to like, how is this adjust? And are we being equitable? Are we doing all the considerations? And are you doing
Yeah.
those things in a fair way? And the 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 point is you have to know and do your research as you're putting these things together. And as
Yes.
you're looking for a new job, make sure you're negotiating these things going in. And this is part of looking. I want the best for Rachel Couples, and I think she should get $1 million. So I'm gonna help
No,
her
there.
negotiate to get that salary.
Yes.
Probably shouldn't start there.
Probably not.
But
Probably. But I
there's
like
lots
the
of people that are
aspiration.
looking for jobs, and you have to figure out exactly what are you negotiating for.
That's right.
Start the
And listen,
job.
negotiation, I was just going to say, right? Negotiation is more than just cash. And I know we lean into that as like the primary negotiation, but there are other things to negotiate, like the job itself. This role, I'm doing, whatever, 2/3 of this and 1/3 of that, whatever it is. And you're like, I've been here for 2 years now. The 2/3 that I'm doing actually needs full attention. I know you got this 1/3 on me. Can we talk about a new construct for this particular position? Because the 2/3 has grown, and now the 1/3 that I was doing in this other vein, it's taken me over the top. I don't have enough time. I'm struggling. It's making me not want to be here, and I know that that's not how I really feel. It's just where we are at the moment. Can we talk through how we can restructure? That's a negotiation too. And
That's
if
right.
you have a company that says, no, too bad, do it all and work 112 hours a week, well, then you know your answer. You at least aren't guessing. You can
You're
then
gonna have to
make other
time travel.
decisions as a
Is your
result.
answer. Time travel. 100 and how
Yes.
many hours a week that we have to.
Yes. Okay. I'm very uncomfortable. Jamie, I'm not as white as I thought I was. Let's make sure that gets removed from this chat, Jamie, because nobody is questioning that. You are
Jamie.
white as white can be. You are white as white can be. I don't know why people comment the way they
I'm
comment.
dead.
I mean, my gosh.
Dead. I'm dead.
But you know, I love and good morning, George. We're glad you're here. Gosh, so many of you. We are thrilled that you're all here. But George wrote something, and again, I don't have permission to share anything
I
because
can do that. I
I'm
can
not
do it.
loved on this platform. This is what kicks people in the head. Honestly, they get frustrated when you're like, okay, here's my price, and the other person on the other end goes, okay, you got it. You then do the crap. I should have asked for more. Like, isn't that funny? Like
They did a study. This is what's interesting. They did a study and they asked people, they would pay them like $200,000, but everybody's going to be making $300,000. Would they rather make $2,000 where everybody's making $300,000, or make $50,000, or make $100,000 and everybody else at the company makes $50,000? And 50% said they would rather do the 50,000 because it's not about being fair and equitable. They just want to feel like they have a lift up on
Yes.
people.
Yes.
That's scary. Welcome to America.
And I'm going to say to you,
wow.
Amazing, right? I'm going to say to you as well, which will really be disheartening. I guarantee you, if we did successive surveys over a period of time, there will be individuals who surveyed will answer very affirmatively towards proactive allyship that they want to have in equitable considerations, and then 90 days later be filling out this survey saying, screw everybody else, I want 100 grand, let them all get 50. Now you tell me how I'm supposed to line those things up. What you want me to do with all that, right? I can't make all that.
Watch Survivor last night? Anybody watch Survivor last night?
No, Frankie and Kath, though, they love it. They were up to watch.
Survivor.
Yes.
I was watching Survivor last night, and it's the same thing. They were like, oh, tell us your story. He was like, I was poor. I lived in a shed my whole life, and I had this and this, and I was so happy because now I can be here on Survivor because I was a survivor in real life. Do you think she shared the idol? No. They're all like, bye.
Nope. Bye. See you later.
Off the island.
Bye. Back to your shed. I mean, they don't care.
For real. They were like, oh, sorry. Yep, welcome. Bye. He was like, I was the first one to graduate high school in my family ever. I was the first one to get an advanced degree. I've been doing all these things and I just want to make my family proud. They're like, bye. What's your name?
Yeah. You made it onto the show just for the first episode.
And if y'all know Survivor, you know she could have shared it and been like, okay, we're going to save them and we'll figure something out. But no.
Yeah. Nope. And they're like, pack your knapsack out. Out.
Pack your knapsack. Put your stick in your kerchief. Put your tin in your beans and get off the island.
Listen, these people, they must only have, you see what these people wear. It's like rubber bands and scraps of thread. and it's nothing. And you're like, I appreciate that it's warm there, but can we not give someone a cover up or something? Because they're like,
seriously, naked out of leaves, burning. To like a pulse.
That's the other show, Naked and Afraid. Did you ever watch that one?
No, because I'm too afraid to watch the naked people.
Can I just, first of all, I think it's really weird. You know, they drop off like a guy and a girl and they're like, take all your clothes off. You don't know each other and now go survive together.
Babies.
I don't understand why you would sign up for that. And what is happening in your life that this is.
I'm naked and afraid every day. It's called taking a shower. I am not trying to do that publicly.
I absolutely don't want to do that publicly. And I mean, my life, I hope my life is in a different spot where I don't have to if I'm taking my clothes off, it ain't going to be out to be in the woods. I'm going to be dancing somewhere and somebody's giving me money. Correct.
Or prostate checkup.
Or there's something happening with some sort of, NSYNC music playing in the background and someone's throwing me 20s. I'm fine. But the idea of going out in the middle of the woods with nothing.
20s?
Come on, I'm trying to be kind.
That's an exaggeration. Just a little bit of an exaggeration.
Because it'd be hundreds. What you talking about? Ones and fives? Ain't nobody throwing me ones and fives.
Hundreds. To be clear.
I'd be out on that stage, and the minute I see somebody waving a $5 bill, I'd be like, cut the music.
Truth is, right now, if anybody has hundreds and you're driving by Baldino's office, He'll be out there in a minute.
In a hot minute.
In a New York minute. We have problems. Listen, I don't
This
know if our
polo is
caffeine
coming
has not kicked
right
in,
off.
but
No question.
$100. Oh, we have problems. We're having problems today. It looks like John froze. Maybe you can hear him. Oh, he came back.
Awesome.
Or maybe it's me. It looks like we were having a little bit of issues
No,
connecting,
no,
but
you froze.
you think
I'm back. Am
so?
I here? I'm back. I'm here.
Yeah, you're back. I can see your little your little
I see
linies,
everything.
your little linies.
Okay. My gosh.
Have you ever done negotiated for a salary when you
Oh,
were
it was
getting
John.
paid
Yes. Yes. And
or for benefits?
um, I have negotiated for compensation.
Yeah.
Always gone well. Mostly it hasn't gone well, to be honest with you. Mostly it hasn't gone well. And that's such a bad way to put it. I guess what I mean by not gone well is I haven't gotten what I've asked for, but it doesn't mean that I didn't either get anything or walk away understanding better why it was the way it was, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I don't really tend to get bitter about that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, I know. I don't have that thought just kind of creeping in my head saying, what if, what if, what if? Now I've done it and I know the answer, and then I make other decisions.
Well, I mean, I do think with jobs, posting the salary is helpful to know as a negotiation point. If
Yes.
people
Yes.
understood it better, that it's like the full life cycle of the job. You're not going to go in at the end of the range. Like this is supposed to be your career, and this is the max you can make within this career after. I mean, it's confusing. We are showing how the sausage is made these days, with HR math and salaries and compensations is a little people don't total comp, what's your total comp package and all the equity. It's very hard to putting those things out there, but let me tell you something. You do have a spot to ask. I will tell you, culturally for me, there has always been this feeling of being grateful for having a job at all. Like just be glad, like you're just lucky you
Yes.
got a job, right?
Yeah.
And then later feeling like, oh, you should have asked for more. And I thought I was lucky for a job. I was working on a project and they gave me a budget, right? I'm an executive. You give me the budget. I will factor towards the budget. That might mean, it's a house salad. It's not a Caesar salad, but we're going to negotiate into the budget. 3/4 through the project, the treasurer was like, do you need any additional money? And I was like, no. And she goes, well, you could have some. Like we budgeted in case you went over. And
A
I
contingent.
said,
Yeah.
why didn't you just give me all the money? And they're like, why didn't you ask for it? I was like, because I budget correctly. And some people do that at work. If you know the top of the range of the salary, why aren't you just giving them the range? I could tell you the people that have worked for me have said, oh, I need this amount. And I'm like, no, I'm giving you this amount. This is the salary I'm giving you because this is the level of work and
Yeah.
expertise and understanding that I feel like the value for this job is.
And that's fair, especially if you're transparent. Like,
It is. But I have
and I
seen
think,
people in the past brag online talking
listen,
about,
I had 2 conversations this week already with
mm,
people who want to post jobs or want to talk to me about talent acquisition. And they're like, I want to not share how much I want to pay for this role. And I'm like, okay, so before I get into the compliance component of where you may be or where the role may appear, why? It's going to really depend on who I talk to before I determine what
oh,
I'm
you gonna have to tell me something, mister.
and I'm like, but why? Well, John, haven't you really ever talked to somebody and you're like, yes, this person, amazing. I need to kind of go a little more than I might have thought I would, but they're really awesome. And I'm like, but what I want to know is if that person applies for the job and you find them to be really awesome, even if you've posted the range, What is prohibiting you from giving more than the range outside of comp, banding and pay equity? Not that that doesn't matter, but tell me what, obviously you don't care about it if you want to just talk to whomever and give. So I don't think pay equity is your primary concern. Tell me what it is. I just feel like then I'm sort of, I said, what, stuck to have to give them what's in that range because if you find somebody who is minimally passable, you'd like to give them 10,000 less than whatever the base would normally be. We're not really in that market. We're not in that market. And honestly, we shouldn't be in that market. So either post the ranges or I can't help you.
Mm-mm.
And both of them were like, okay, if you think that's the way. I'm like, I know it's the way. I said, listen, you all must not have hired people in quite a while. If it's not the first question, it's the second question. When you ask a candidate, is there anything I could answer? And they say, what's the role paying? What's the range of compensation for this role? Because if it's not posted, they're going to ask.
That's right.
Wouldn't you?
And they're not
ask?
getting one over on you. You're paying.
Right.
This is like, you're paying for the role. Sorry, I know that we have multiple channels. Putting up the chat adds it so everybody can see the chat no matter what.
Yes.
So
yes.
sorry. But the thing is, nobody's trying to get over on you. You are asking somebody to provide something for you, and you need to pay for it. This is not rocket science. Even though last night, apparently, we were going through the cars. There was a car commercial. And I said, oh, is that how much I paid for my car? Do you know my husband said, no, you paid. And he knew the exact amount of the car. I don't know when he did that. I thought it was being really slick. But he was like, no, should I negotiate it? Maybe.
That's really funny. I mean, first of all, if you've never purchased a car before, that's a great learning curve for negotiation. Because that's
you shouldn't feel guilty asking for what you feel you deserve. That's the thing that is hard. Do not feel bad, especially, but you have to be honest about what you need, and you need to be aware. Like we need
and
adulting class.
This is why you talked about budgets a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
I'm walking into a role knowing what we can afford.
Right.
This is the role, and it's within a range of competitiveness, but maybe I'm not leading the market. Maybe I'm not at the 90th percentile. Maybe I'm at the 25th. Just own it.
That's right.
Own it.
And people do that, by the way. Like, I mean, most of the people here are, Nikki got,
I'm so glad to see Nikki here. We had fun.
I know, because this is really great. But you have to be aware, or you don't know what your value is in the market. Do a little bit of research. It doesn't have to be perfect. And also know if it's good for you. Like, I'm in Waco, Texas. We know that the salaries are going to be different than if you were in Dallas, right? And some of those might be backwards to what you think. We have Baylor University. Baylor University is a private school. They pay well for their roles. You're not going to get the same amount as a teacher at MCC, at McLennan Community College, because that's not Baylor. So don't get upset. Just know what the difference is, and you make a determination, because let me tell you, those are different working environments as well.
I just had a candidate reach out to me this week, just generally said, hey, I talked to so-and-so, and they said it might be a good idea for me to steal 10 minutes with you. Sure. I'm recently separated from a role. This is what I'm looking for. And she was used to a particular environment, right? A school environment like Baylor that you just mentioned. And so she rattled off the level of benefit that she's looking for. And I was like, I got to tell you, that's awesome. I'm so glad that's been your experience, right?
I think you're worth it. You always got to put
correct.
It has nothing to do with you as a person.
No. But you may need to look for a role in that kind of environment, because if that level of benefit, not even the comp, the level of other benefits that you're looking for really lends itself towards higher ed, I think I'm ready for something else. Look, you may be ready for something else. And I'm not saying you couldn't do something else, but you're going to be pissed when you see what the benefits are like in other places, if that's your frame of reference. Because schools have something very different than
Yes.
lots of other industries. And honestly, her response was truly ignorance. Like because she had been in this world for so long, she's like, I didn't really realize that. I thought everybody
Right.
got no. Everybody doesn't get
No.
free tuition to go because you're there in the school. Like you're not
And
going to get
sometimes
that.
that's where you need, right? I
Yeah.
remember before I was like looking for a company and negotiating with a couple of different offers. And it was with Todd was negotiating. And we were looking for the one that had the free baby. We kept saying, which one has the free baby? It was before our kids were born. Looking at the insurance package that covered all of the maternity, because not all of the benefits cover all of maternity.
No,
And
they
we knew
don't.
we were at that stage. We were like, we want the one with the free baby. And of course, same look. He was like, can we get the free baby? No, we're not taking a baby. It's not like a baby with purchase. But the one with the compensation is going to be the best. And it's something that people should consider of what they need in their life to figure out
Yeah.
those benefits. And no, it also helps you understand where the company puts their emphasis and where they put their importance. Because sometimes, like at this stage, I'm like, I'm not looking at those things. I'm looking for things on, those of a certain age. I'm looking for different benefits.
Well, and that there are two things there, right? Season of life absolutely matters. I think what you said there, I don't need stuff that I might have needed when I was earlier on in my career. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just different stages of life. But the other thing is, you talked about the individual employee candidate doing the homework, and then going into either the recruitment process or into your negotiation within your current employer. I would just challenge your individual research. Where are you looking for the numbers and the
That's
benefit?
right.
Because if you just do a quick Google and click the first one or two things that pop up, you may be surprised to know that that information is not accurate. B, the first one or two that are there are only there because they paid Google for SEO stuff to be at the top, and it
Yes.
doesn't have anything to do with validity or reliability. And so, if I don't know, schmallery.com, let's say, is the top thing, that really may not be the right self-reporting numbers that you should use when you go back and say, I went on this particular site and they're showing that I should be making 25,000 more than I'm making right now. Well, let's look at that. I mean, if I'm the HR person, I'm like, bring that up. Let me see what you found and what it looks like. Oh, well, that's for this role.
That's right.
That's total comp. That's
That's
in
right.
San Francisco. You're in Sheboygan. So what?
Sheboygan. I just want to say that all day.
It's always my go-to
When
because it's
people
a
ask me,
cool
they say,
place.
"Where are you from?" I'm gonna start saying Sheboygan. I'm
Sheboygan.
just gonna start saying it.
I got your
Yeah.
horse right here. His name is Paul Revere.
No, Sam. What was it? What was the song?
Can do.
Yeah,
Can do.
can do.
Guys and dolls, baby. Come on. We're gonna bust
By
that
the
music.
way, my oldest is just launched a campaign for micro tools. I have to find it. Y'all aren't gonna believe it. Oh, here it is.
That's
I
so
gotta show y'all.
interesting.
Look, so there's like a mini verse.
Oh my gosh. It's Wonka.
Yes.
I
So
can't stand
I
it.
am so proud of my oldest, but this campaign just came out
I
for
mean,
the
the
mini
cutest.
verse.
The
Speaking of jobs and
cutest.
negotiation, let me tell you, honey, I am always like, Clayton, you should ask for no less than $1 million. You are the bomb. Yeah. Can do. Can do.
Franny, it's you gotta roll up a
Bestest.
newspaper though. You gotta roll up a newspaper with the racing
That's
team.
that's right.
I
And
got
you
your
gotta
horse right here. His name is Paul
I
Revere.
think TJ did guys and dolls like in the seventh grade.
That is a great musical. If you haven't seen that, you all got to get educated. Go watch Guys and Dolls.
You have ruined me. You
I
have
know.
ruined all of us.
Darn, Freddie, darn you both. Now,
Because you know it's fun to sing.
it is a great song to sing, actually. It's a great way to open that musical. But okay, we digress. But it is funny because one of the things that I'm noticing about negotiation, we're talking about Clay, and I'll talk about Frank as well. They're not as fearful about sort of coming into what they are worth. Clay at this point is like, I don't know. I'm not doing that for free, or no,
That's
I'm
right.
not going to like that. I like Frankie. When you said micro tools, I was thinking he just got sent tools to do content marketing. They send him tools, they send him cash. They're like, please make videos and post all of this stuff. And first of all, I want to be like, y'all, the boy doesn't use a tool at all, ever. Save his life. He's like, Dad, I got a cordless screwdriver. For what? What you gonna do?
What you gonna do? Pass it over here.
No, his mother.
Like, I was at, Clay's in Brussels right now doing jewelry, right? And I was like, they got no one else in Belgium. They got to fly you out from Brooklyn. They got no one in Belgium, not one, nowhere, all of Europe. And they're like, no. I am the one.
Frank is watching House Hunters International, and he's like, yeah, I could do the Thailand thing for $300 a month and living there. I'm like, and he's like, I'll make a fortune because I'm cutting expenses so much and still, earning the content level that I'm earning. And I'm like, go ahead.
And they feel like they're worth a lot.
They do a little too much sometimes, but they're a whole lot. But they're not afraid, and I think that's really interesting culturally to watch. Just
we shouldn't be afraid, right?
No.
We're asking things, and we shouldn't be afraid of being treated fairly, with respect. We shouldn't be afraid of speaking and asking the right questions. We shouldn't be afraid to ask about how things are going, and I shouldn't be afraid of answering the question.
And right? I should not be afraid of the commentary that's happening in this chat, because I'm finding out things about people that are Brian Fink as Nathan Detroit.
I feel like we can do this. Like, I feel like we need to have HR does
Wendy Daly doing Adele's Lament, which if you don't know Adele's Lament, a person can develop a cough. I mean, it is. I mean, we could do an entire musical right here.
Can we just do all of the? Are we going to do Guys and Dolls, or can we do all this?
I feel like we've got.
Because my favorite is She Loves Me. My favorite musical is She Loves Me. Go look up the song Ice Cream in She Loves Me. It's not as well known, but it isn't my favorite.
That's really. I think we should start with Guys and Dolls, and George is here as well, and George can be the leader of the Salvation Army band. I think that would be a. It's a good role for him. This is, and Rachel is totally right about being proud of Gen Z, right? I'm not a big, those who have heard me kind of share and speak previously, like I'm not a big generations person. I get I get tired of feeling like we've somehow allowed discrimination in generation to be acceptable. And we just say, well, this is how they are. It's such a labeling kind of approach that it is uncomfortable for me. And I don't think it's true, actually. But the idea, though, I will say about those that are coming into the workforce, they're braver. They know, some of them have had side hustles since they were 12 years old. Like they've had access to do things online and on certain platforms and gaming and all kinds of things. Fiverr. I mean, there's teenagers on Fiverr that are doing a bunch of work for people.
I thought you said fiber, because I Gen Xer. I'm like, yeah, we need lots of fiber.
We need fiber. Yes.
I love David Noe said, what is the secret sauce to retain top talent? some of the things is you got to get ahead of these things
It's
on
not
average.
just this, David, and he knows that. I
No,
know, David. No, we know. It's not just
yes.
this. We think it is, but it's not.
No, it's really giving people an opportunity to be seen and have impact. I mean, people really do want to have impact on the things that they're doing and continue talking, but they're also being suggested to leave every 5 years. So
Yes,
there is a point where we're not going to see the company folks that are staying for a long time because people don't pay people necessarily what they should be compensated. If you work at an organization that isn't paying fairly, the 5 year plan
correct.
is the only way to get the raise that you
Correct.
deserve for the market.
And you may need to have a 2-year plan at the current role you're in and be okay with that. Meaning, I don't hate it here. I know what I'm earning here. I wish it were more, but I'm getting some skill sets that are honestly going to be able to launch me in 24 months into a next position that, whether it's benefit or industry, something that it'll open a door for you in, then it's an investment. That's a different
That's right.
approach than it just needing to be about I'm worth, I've sat with people and I promise you, they've given me the whole head swing and everything. I am worth a whole lot more. And I'm like, listen, it is, if you're thinking that the only way that I can affirm to you that you have value is paying you 15% over market rate, you're backing the company into a corner that they aren't going to be thankful for. That's not the way in which we want this relationship to work. Do we
No.
think you're valuable? Yes. Do we find great value in your work? Yes. Let's talk about that. But if you want to come in guns a-blazing and saying you will or I walk, I got to tell you, especially if I'm making the decision, I'm going to tell you my bias. I got a Philly bias. Don't come in here and tell me I get this or I walk. Bye, Felicia. See
That's
you.
right. There's a certain tone, voice, a
Yes.
tone, and volume at which I'm done.
Done. Because I don't want an antagonistic rapport. I don't want that. It's not going to serve us. Because quite frankly, if I say yes right now, in 6 months, we're going to have some other antagonistic conversation because we've now set the tone for it. That's not okay. And I will tell you, I've also had success where that starts to happen. And I say just what I shared with you to that person, and they stop for a moment and say, you're right. The company's never treated me this way. I'm nervous. I felt like I needed to come in really strong and probably too strong. I'm great with that to say, okay, let's do this. Go out, come back in, count to 10, come back in. Let's start all over. None of this happened. None of what we just talked about happened. Let's start again. Are you serious? Absolutely. Go ahead, leave.
I've done that before too. You know what? We're
Yes.
gonna have to start over. I'm gonna let you walk out.
Yes.
Let's redo.
Isn't that a great
Have
thing?
you heard Larry David? I don't know if you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. I
Oh
love
my
Larry
gosh.
David. He
Wet
is
my pants.
so funny.
Wet my
I
pants.
can't even say the skit that I always think about when I think about Larry.
Don't say it.
Anyway,
I know the
I'm
one.
not. You know, yeah. Anyway, so Larry David talks about how when he was on, it was either Second City or one of the shows, he was on a show that was a precursor to Saturday Night Live, and they weren't going to put his stuff on there, and he was so angry, and he quit, and he went home and told his mentor, "I was mad he quit." He was like, "Are you kidding? That's like the best job you ever had.
Right.
I want you to go back there. I want you to go back there and act like it didn't happen and just go to work tomorrow." And he did. He just acted like he didn't just quit and walk off the stage the next day. But he did. And I know there's so many people that wish that they could just show up again and be like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
was kidding.
Yes.
I
My
didn't mean
bad.
any. That was
Yes.
a movie thing."
Yes. Yeah. And
You know?
I, Diane, I love what Diana wrote. People show you who they truly are in these conversations when they tell you believe them. And I totally understand that. What I'll add on to that is say they show you who they are now. And what I have learned through a lot of years and a lot of pain is that if I just allow myself to categorize them that way, always and forever, there are moments where I would have lost an opportunity to be an encouragement to the person. Now, I'm not saying that everybody, it all becomes like, the fairy godmother, bippity boppity boo, and everything's great. That's not always the case. But there absolutely have been moments where I have witnessed who somebody is at that exact moment, and then I will offer a challenging consideration. And some people will rise to the occasion and say, "You're right," or "I hadn't thought about that. Can I take a minute to think about it?" Absolutely. Absolutely. I would rather that. And I will also say very often those people become super loyal to the team, to the environment, and make great investment in it because they're like, I was safe to be able to be wrong, to have a bad attitude that day, or to have a bad approach that day, and be given runway to make a change. People don't know all the time. They
No,
just don't
but
know.
and here's the thing that we have to do and remember that we are in a different time frame and a different market. And you as an adult, what's kind of hard for us Gen Xers, you are responsible for yourself and your growth,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
like, don't come up to me and tell me, oh, you work so hard. I didn't tell you work so hard. I didn't tell you stayed at till 8 o'clock. I didn't tell you to work on the weekends. People mad. They're like, I made lunch for everybody in the office. Didn't nobody, and they want a raise based on lunch. That wasn't your job. Thank you for the tuna sandwich. I didn't ask you to do that.
I had somebody tell me I ate ramen 3 nights last week because of how bad, how little I'm getting paid. And I was like, oh my gosh. First of all, I have ramen now sometimes. I like ramen,
I
but
like
that's
ramen,
another story.
right?
And when you come in the morning with your venti size Starbucks at, $84 each,
You could have feed a whole family.
wait, don't get yourself a meal for dinner and just have a tall coffee. You don't need to have the venti mocha latte, whatever the heck it is,
Mocha
right? Like,
chocolata.
I
You
mean,
were singing.
have you seen those videos of grandkids going through the Starbucks drive-through with their grandfathers driving and
Yes.
to order for them?
Mean. Rude.
I could not stop laughing because I can absolutely see my kids doing this to Kathy's dad. I mean,
It is hilarious.
so funny. I need a Trenta, what I forget, Trenta Fruta something or other, and the
The
woman
guys are always
is like, what? Listen, you all want to be in on something? Let me give you a secret. The Instagram DMs between Jackye and I of the videos
They're taking a corner.
they took a sharp left turn this week. They took
Now keep in mind, me and John are on there every day, all
every
day,
day.
and we could send video. We save the best.
I mean, yes. If I'm
can't stand
wet,
it.
wetting my pants, I'm like, ooh, I got to send this to Jackye.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
first thought, it is, but I probably think some of them would absolutely get this show canceled. So, like, we.
Say.
That
Sometimes
is
I might just sit there like this. Todd will be like, John. I'll be like, look at this fool. That's you, actually. That is your nickname.
Is
this
me.
Fool.
I am the fool.
That's
I'm
right.
telling you. But
Boo-boo,
listen,
the fool.
I want to make sure I say this too.
Yes.
When you negotiate, think about.
Oh, my sister just walked in and she just
Hi.
Oh
my gosh,
do you want to say
so
hi to the
quickly.
audience? You can just come say hello. Yeah, come say hello to the
Yes,
people. You got to put your head right here. Look.
All the way in. There she is. Ooh, back that camera.
Look right there. Back up. Back up.
Yeah, back up.
Right?
I want to see
The other
all
way.
of that because, oh my goodness,
I
fine.
know, right?
She is looking fine. Look at this.
She is looking fine. Everyone, this is my sister, Lauren.
Looking
My
great.
much older, not quite as funny. Brooklyn's mom. We all know Brooklyn.
We all know Brooklyn.
We all know Brooklyn.
Oh
That's
my
right.
God.
Everybody know Brooklyn. Look, everybody said, hey, Jackye said, aw, thanks,
Oh.
Isn't that cute?
I mean, she is ready for a music video.
I know. She's like gorgeous. Look at
gorgeous.
Listen.
Gorgeous.
My sister is gorgeous. I mean, that's why I'm always like, now my sister is gorgeous. I gotta tell y'all the secret. She just gave me the heart. She's so cute. My sister is 60 years old.
I know. I'm going to tell you something. She's she's making it bad for the
Nothing,
rest.
nothing. I just say,
She's
y'all.
making it bad for the rest of us.
She's a fitness influencer on Instagram. Her handle is Vegan Radiance, and it's just sick. It's
Yes.
sick.
Put that in the chat. Type that in there for everybody. Can't you type it in
Yes,
there?
can someone put that in there? If not, I'll put it in there later. Vegan Radiance on Instagram.
I had somebody this week. No, sorry, last week in Vegas. Refer to me as sir, but in that like elderly sir kind of way. I'm sorry. I'm not here for that. Don't refer to
Listen,
me in that way.
I get it.
Excuse me, sir. Oh, excuse me, sir. I'm I'm not quite there yet. I'll have my walker soon. Don't worry, but I'm not quite there.
You listen. All I know when I tell people this is my sister, they're like, "Oh, which one's older?"
Just
Rude.
slap them. Honestly, as long as they don't work with you or for you, you can slap them. I
Damn.
think you're
I'm
all right to
like,
do
are
that.
you for real right now? Hurts my feelings.
But
Hurts
you know, I
my
also want to make
feelings.
sure because she is a great example of it ain't over till it's over. And so for
That's right.
those of us who are in the 50s, 60s bracket, and we think this is just my lot in life, y'all negotiate, risk, go
Listen,
forward because it is
she's
not
been kicking my ass. The thing is, my sister's been kicking my ass. I've been working out every day now that my sister
you
moved
look
in,
fabulous too, by
right?
the way, in case
Thank
people have
you.
not seen you. You look
Appreciate that.
fantastic. Yes.
Appreciate. Thank you for my flowers. Listen, all I know is it is amazing when you eat right and you exercise and you're hydrated and you get your sleep, how much you can get done. But you are a better negotiator when you have your sense about yourself. Don't do it when you're
Clear
tired,
mind.
dehydrated, and hungry.
Yes. Clear mind. If you're angry or tired, not the time to walk into an office. Don't
Listen,
do it.
Todd, this was Todd's peace offering. We almost got divorced. He didn't know he was snoring. He was asleep, but I was about to choke him out.
Can you
Think
put
I
that
wasn't?
CPAP machine on him though? Can we start doing this or
Listen,
no?
he's going through a sleep study. So I swear to God, y'all.
Oh my gosh. Somebody send me $200. I'll tell you what his problem is. You snore. Wear the sleep CPAP machine. $200. Send it to me.
It is absolutely. This morning, this doesn't happen very often. I sat up and I was like, "What do you need?" He was like, "Do you need to do this? Go wash your face again." I took a full shower. He was like, "Go
Go
wash your
wash
face with
your
cold
face again.
water." I was like, I said, I
Go
need
wash your
sleep.
face again.
Nothing you recommend is gonna help. The only thing I need is sleep.
Go wash your face again. I'd be like, what?
Boy, he wanted me to wash it in ice. He was like a shock to the system. I was like, I need sleep. I don't
You
need to be
are
shocked and
you are the
sleep.
shock to my system, Todd.
Oh boy.
You, you.
And then he got this flat white and put sleepy for those that started a little late on my.
No.
He put sleepy on the cup.
Look, because I know we only got a minute or two. I'm going to make sure that everybody knows negotiation is not age related. It's fair game for everyone.
Know your
And
worth.
right, you also have to know, yes, you have to know your worth and you have to know what the work is worth. You cannot get mad because
Yes.
you can't get mad because you're in a position where you're like, I want to make a lot more, but this is the kind of work that I'm doing. There's nothing wrong with that work, but I'll have people who are doing X job and they're asking for the CEO salary. And I'm like, where did that come from that you think this work is worth the CEO salary? Where did that come from? I just know what I'm worth. I'm not, everybody's worth $10 million. Like, I get that. But I'm asking you, what have you done? And it's like, no, and for me, I'm like, listen, we'll never meet that expectation. So you've got a decision now. Do you stay and own the kind of work that you do for the kind of pay that you're getting, which is absolutely equitable and competitive? Or do you step away? And I'm like, listen, we'll never meet that expectation. So you've got a decision now. Do you stay and own the kind of work that you do for the kind of pay that you're getting, which is absolutely equitable and competitive? Or do you step away? And I'm like, listen, we'll never meet that expectation. So you've got a decision now. Do you stay and own the kind of work that you do for the kind of pay that you're getting, which is absolutely equitable and competitive?
That's right.
Can you do that? Or do you need to learn the lesson differently and step away
That's
from where
right.
you are now and try to do your own thing? Go be entrepreneurial, see if you can make it work. I can't solve all those problems. I can't.
Can't. I love. Maybe we should change our name to Sleepy and Sir. Sleepy and the Sir.
Brian Fink, let me tell you something. I appreciate that you're from the South and say sir. I was not referring to you as the sir. I take your sir
That
as
was funny. See,
respectfully.
it's the Sleepy and Sir. I think that's funny.
Brian Fink, I want you to take out your old sheet music from Guys and Dolls and start brushing up
Next
on Live in
week we'll
Detroit.
do a
I want to
reading
see,
rendition
I
of
want an
Guys.
Instagram reel. Post that reel so I could see you singing at least half of a song.
I would love that. But y'all, if you have open positions, please put them in the chat or
Yes,
consider
yes.
if
Or
you are
if you're
looking for
looking, if
the
you're
best
looking as
recruiter
well.
ever of all time, appear Rachel, please, Rachel Couples. Bomb diggity.
Tammy said my mama thinks I'm priceless, but that doesn't mean the business should pay. Go ahead, Tammy. You right. You
That
right.
is right. You are priceless, boo boo. Yes, you are. Mwah. We love y'all. Thank you so
Love
much.
y'all.
Clink.
Blink.
Bye.